You're now listening to the Zod and Drea podcast.
And we're back.
I mean, it's a little early, but yeah. All right, we're back. We're back, everybody. Welcome to the Zod and Drea podcast. We are on episode number 119. We hope you have had a great week.
We had a fantastic week.
Yeah, we always have a great week. In fact, we had a big meeting today on some of the nonprofit stuff that we're going to be doing. So if you're into nonprofit work, make sure you check out Tomorrow We Vote, because that's our nonpartisan sect. So that's not a Zod and Drea sponsored event, but we are sponsoring it because we are going to have a launch party soon, so we want to make sure you're there.
Yeah, just show up.
Yeah, just show up. So what else has been happening this week?
Well, it's been extremely hot in Phoenix. I'm not going to lie. It's been about, 110? It's supposed to break like 115
something like
this
that.
week.
It's like one hell.
Yeah,
I think something like that.
Just one hell.
Yeah, one hell.
So it was a little difficult to be out in the daytime, but, in the evening was nice, so we were able to kind of take care of some of the things.
You also got a lot of things accomplished for your company.
Yep. So my event planning company, we were able to launch our first major event for women's training and a women's conference that happened here in Phoenix, and it went fantastic. So
it went swimmingly.
It went so well. So thank you very much, Lupe Lopez, and for having faith in me, and being able to execute this for all the women that attended was phenomenal. Thank you.
Yeah, it seems like everybody got something out of it. Me, I got a succulent plant, which sits on my keyboard, so I'm really happy about that. And we also got some leftovers and a lot of cheese in the refrigerator for some reason. I mean, considering we're not supposed to be eating cheese, but
But we got grilled cheese for days.
That's awesome. All right, so let's discuss what we are going to be talking about in this podcast.
So,
listen, politics. Oh, yeah, of course you can. So, politics we're going to be talking about is the United States, an international joke. So, obviously, if you guys haven't realized, for the last year and a half or so, we elected a TV game show host as president, and somebody thought that was a great idea. But as a result, we are now hated by everybody. But we're going to discuss that a little bit.
We're going to take a moment to look outside our bubble.
Yeah, in entertainment, we have Khalifa and his male fragility. So we got to talk about what is up with dudes and who think that everything is gay. But we're going to start off with good old Wiz.
Leave bananas out of this.
Please, son. And of course, the last and final topic we're going to be discussing is, have men lost the ability to date women today? Which is going to be really interesting because we have a couple of guests. We have Connie, Jacobo.
Hello,
Connie, Jacobo. And we have Rojas coming here to join us on this quest. So they're going to be discussing everything with us. So introduce them, and you know what? Love them, because here we go. So I say let's talk about the United States being an international joke, because one of us just came back from Europe, and as you can pretty much tell from everything the president has been doing about our allies and embracing dictators, we are now the laughingstock. So Rose, you want to take it away?
Yes. So I actually just returned from Europe a couple of weeks ago, and I was actually pretty surprised of how active and knowledgeable that people in London and Paris and Barcelona were involved in our politics, and how much they had to say about their thoughts and opinions of where America's at and the direction that we're going. And so it's pretty enlightening, and I think it's pretty interesting. As Americans, we don't really know about the democracy or the politics in other countries because we're so focused on the politics in our own state. Yeah, we're very social centered, cultural centered. So to see them that knowledgeable and aware of the dynamics and who's involved was really, to me, surprising. But I shouldn't be surprised, because that's how they've always been. Because the United States has been a key player both in the economic and the social and the whole fabric of the world, it's not surprising that they are invested in our politics. And so to me, even though I would never say I was embarrassed to be an American, I was a little bit prepared to receive non-positive reception when I went into these countries, just because there's various opinions about what's going on. And so, but, I was pleasant to talk and discuss politics, culture, everything with individuals who are very open to having a conversation and discussion with no judgment. But it still did concern me in the fact that, I myself don't really like the way our country is going, the direction of it. And as a proud patriot and American, I don't like how that's reflected on the individuals who truly believe in democracy and our country. And so to me, I was making sure that I was a good ambassador of being able to relay the message of not everybody feels or expresses himself in the same way. We're not all one. That's the reason why we love this country, is that we do have opinions and we're able to express them. So I was really, glad that I could educate individuals in other countries to say we're not all alike, right? We all think and act, and there's diverse opinions, thoughts. When people talk about diversity, they never include thought, right? There has to be diversity of thought. And so I really advocate for that. And so based off my experience, that's exactly what I try to do. Be a good ambassador.
Sounds like you are definitely qualified for the next ambassadorship.
I should, right? Oh my God, that could be fun or dangerous.
Either way, it'd be great. Tell me then if there was one encounter that really stuck with you. Say was there anybody that approached you that that again was just really memorable, that you can take that back to maybe share some words of wisdom of what was experienced for you from that encounter?
Yeah, so I actually missed a protest, the big Trump orange baby that was kind of paraded.
I've seen some of that on live stream for like an hour.
I
and all
missed
it was
that.
just scrolling through the audience and the crowd, and I was just entertained with that for like an hour. I loved it. They feel the way we feel. They're just outraged with his behavior.
So that was in England. That was in London, and so I barely missed it by a week. So I would have enjoyed seeing it in person, but I missed it. So actually, I'm going to use an example of a trip that I went abroad probably about maybe 7 years ago, and that was in Italy.
We got 50 seconds.
Okay, where it was in Italy, and it was everybody who was in support of President Obama and how much they loved him, and I just couldn't believe how much admiration that they had for him at the time. So then it was a very positive experience.
And the thing is, when I went to Europe, I was telling you before, when I went to Europe right after Obama was elected, there was just so much admiration for him, for the intellect that he brought to the United States after George W. Bush, and so much respect for the country. And to see that completely erased, where now, all of our allies have been ostracized, and all of the people who pretty much hate us have been embraced, and to see one side of the country who's like, yeah, that's a great idea, that makes America great again, is disheartening. And so it's pretty much ridiculous. So are we a joke? Yeah, we're an international joke, and we're going to have to do something about that in order to rectify the situation.
So much to repair.
Yeah, so...
But I do have to say that, there will be a contingent of individuals who will say that they still don't see America as a joke because the person who was voted in was the person voted in. But, how do you really try to bring that together to have a very healthy national dialogue of where we're going as a country? How can you build that bridge between those who feel like we're not a joke and that we're the best ever to those who feel like we're not? We're a fall of an empire.
Unfortunately, that's going to have to wait because we're on the next topic.
But it's a good question. Good lead for the next one.
And so the next topic, of course, is Wiz Khalifa and his male fragility. So Dre, you want to talk about what Wiz Khalifa had said?
This guy, who's just anyway, so he was on a morning show, and while the morning show, they were trying to promote like his latest album or whatever he's doing. I don't follow him, so I really don't care, but I saw this article and I thought it was ridiculous. So during his interview, he told one of the guests that was on the show with him, if you bite a banana, you sus, meaning suspect, right? Blanks has gotta break the banana in half. Pause. Pause means like stop, right, or something like that.
So
I'm just kind of
really
confused.
Dumb. Pause. All right. So here's the thing. He said pause like 50 times. Pause is part of that male fragility. And what pause means is anytime you say something that is suspected, that someone else may suspect is gay, then you say pause. So it's like, yo, man, I was really hard up for some food. Pause.
Oh my god.
Like.
That's ridiculous.
Dude, you've been dating women since who knows when, but now all of a sudden you're worried about somebody thinking that you just might be gay?
Right.
Because Because you ate a banana?
Ate a full banana. You didn't break it in half. And my thing is that, first of all, that's so ridiculous. And why is fruit all of a sudden then the
identifier of sexuality?
Right. And that's going to dictate now whether you are a straight man or a gay man. What next? If you eat grapes, are you claiming to eat huevos now? Are you a ball eater? Like, what is it?
If a woman breaks a banana in half, does that mean she doesn't, perform her
fellatio?
Yeah,
like,
so it's like.
But it's very, I mean, the fact that they think it's phallic, then there must be something in your brain that is like going there, because, I mean, why even mention it?
Why
Like,
is that such
big
an
deal.
identity issue? I don't think
Is Fruit
heterosexuals
Loops
have to
going to be
say-
next? Is Fruit Loops going to be next on the
I'm always
docket? Like,
concerned about sexuality in general when it comes to gays or lesbians or bisexuals. Like, heterosexuals don't go and announce, I'm heterosexual, so why do gays have to announce what their status is? Or
Exactly.
if they're homosexual, or if they want to eat a banana and the banana pill, what does it matter?
I slipped on a banana peel, but that's another story. But okay, I thought it only happened in cartoons. Pause. I thought it only happened in cartoons, but it does in real life too.
Here's the funny thing about Wiz Khalifa. He's so worried about people thinking that he's gay, because he can't eat a banana right. Have you heard like his biggest hit, which is "See You Again" featuring Charlie Puth?
I don't listen.
That's the song that's at the end of Fast and Furious. Mm-hmm. I know you've heard this song before.
I don't remember.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Here's what's funny is you know what I'm talking about, right?
It's unremarkable, but okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to play a little bit of it.
Oh, is he saying how much he?
Listen. To
Oh
this.
yes, okay,
Remember
yes,
this?
okay, got it, yes.
Now, is this a?
Oh, this one.
This is Wiz Khalifa's song, and he's worried about people thinking he's gay.
You need to calm the hell down, Wiz.
Like, dude, I'm not saying that a song is gay or not, but this is not the strongest hardcore song in the world that's coming out of a man who can't eat a friggin' banana.
Like,
okay?
This is so homophobic. It is so sad, and it's so scary because this guy has such an he has so many followers, millions of followers that are impressionable, that are young and stupid. So now is this young generation of guys who think that they want to be like him, thinking, "Oh, guess what? I can't eat a banana because that's suspect." Like that it's so irresponsible.
But I mean,
and if he's raising a male child, which I know he's not, I think he only has a daughter, but if he puts that in the mindset of his child, saying, "Oh, you're gay because you have to eat this banana that way," what if he does turn out to be gay? And how are you going to jeopardize?
He won't be able to handle it.
How about write another hit
when
song?
he's
How about
ready
do
to
that?
come
No, let's not like comment on bananas and fruit or whatever. Like do that. That's your job, right?
Right.
Write lyrics.
Focus on that. And
Right.
the thing,
Focus on that.
And the
Right.
thing
Do
is,
the best.
Wiz Khalifa is like what, a buck 10 wet. I mean, this guy. I know he's gotten models and everything else, but dude has to chill. But we have to actually go to a break, and we're gonna be talking about this next topic. So hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Zod,
And I'm Drea.
and we want you to check out the Zod and Drea podcast every Tuesday.
Where can everybody find us at?
You can always check us out on www.zodanddrea.com.
Where else?
You can always check us out also on Facebook at Zod and Drea.
Instagram?
Zod and Drea.
Snapchat?
Zod and Drea.
YouTube?
Zod and Drea.
I see a pattern.
I see a pattern. So if you haven't caught that, catch us at Zod and Drea on all the social networks. But also, make sure you subscribe to the Zod and Drea podcast. Where?
At zodanddrea.com.
And also on YouTube and iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. We're coming for you.
Let us know what you think. And if you want to be a guest, reach out to us.
And put all of your input into whatever our topics are for the week. So we hope to check you out and see you there.
Bye. And we are continuing our conversation today.
All right, we're back. And now the topic is going to be a really good one because we have a couple of ladies, Connie and Rose, who are experts in this field. So we are going to talk about, have men lost the ability to date women today? So we have subject A and subject B, who will be able to give some of their own feedback on what men are doing right, but especially what they are doing wrong.
Take notes.
So take notes. So
Men out there, take notes.
I do want to clarify, I wouldn't describe it as being an expert, more of a victim of dating. So I will share that
A survivor.
side. A survivor,
survivor
yes.
guide,
A
yes.
survivor guide, yes.
I'm not gonna
The
ask.
survivor
I'm
guide.
not gonna ask how many dates you've been on
Okay.
in 2017,
Diary of
which
a
will
single
dictate
dad.
which will
I
dictate
used-
whether
I
or
used
not
to
you're an
journal that.
expert.
Yeah, exactly.
Survivor Survivor. You can just have one.
I put it on my social media that I'm the after school special. That one person that everybody has to learn from what not to do. So I bring that to the table.
Then you are an expert.
And then, so now I see the rainbow. The now you know rainbow.
Now
All right.
you know.
Well, I used to always write diaries of a single woman, just like my memoirs of what I experienced. And once I was in a relationship, because then I could express myself freely without without worrying about breaking my dating cycle or ruining my game.
All right, so I'm gonna start this off. I want to ask anybody who wants to jump in. Now, obviously, back in the day, today we have Match.com, we've got Bumble, we've got Tinder and Grindr, and so many ers. I mean, we have so many ers. POF is still
Mingle.
around. Christian. I mean, even the Christians are getting in on it. We even have
The 50
the Jewish. The
50 and up.
Yeah, the 50 and up joint.
I'm looking for the cholos.com.
Oh, yeah.
Cholos, we got that reminds me,
Hasidic Jews.
Black friends, we do. We have a whole, and we have Facebook. So, the thing is,
Yeah, that is.
I want to ask you, and which is we actually went over that, which is Facebook is one of the leading causes, I think, of like divorces or something like that. Anyway,
And depression.
and depression. So I want to ask you, what is it? Now? This is now. Back in the day, if you remember, the matches and everything back in the day in the 80s were videotapes. Now people would go in VHSs and go into actual places to be able to you record your thing, and then somebody sees, and then you go on a date. It's a lot more.
That show Love Connection.
There was a lot in Love Connect. There was a lot more effort that went into the dating scene. Now it seems like what I'm getting is men have lost the ability to be able to date women because it's so easy. It's so convenient. Technology has almost ruined the dating experience from what I've heard. What are your opinions on that? Rose?
I would agree. In fact, I think because of everything in society has made ordering food through Postmates to Uber
Eats
and Uber Eats. Everything's so convenient and everything is treated like a transaction, right? If I want food, I'll order food. If I want drinks, I'll order drinks, If I want to order a ride, and then now it's like with dating, it's like if I want to say, like, if they want to order a date or even a sexual experience, I'm going to go online to see if I could do that. So I really agree with you in the fact that I think what's been detrimental to dating nowadays is the convenience of it, the fact that people don't have to invest in it. So then there's no emotion behind it. It's a swipe. It's the next. It's the moving on. And,
Irreplaceable.
It's, and it's like, to the bags to the left. Like, they're just like, bye, And I think it's for people who do want to invest in other people and who are about partnerships, it's been a disservice, because we have a lot to offer. And I think that people don't even want to take the time to even learn or know people anymore.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I say. I think a lot of guys with myself, I like to take the time to get to know someone. And then when I do get to know them, 99% of the time I find out I really don't even like them. So I'm not even going to go there to the next level. But then when I do meet someone, I'm like, okay, I'm ready. This is like 5th date. He's a great guy. MIA, because I took too long. So it's a give or take, how they're going to go. But
Took too long in the sense that he was pulled in by another person, or like what do you mean by too late?
Oh, too late as in I didn't put out fast enough. Like I didn't, give him what he ultimately wanted quick enough. And I like a man who takes me on a date. If you can't take me on a date, you get
no nookie.
Right, because they want to just, you meet someone, they're send me a naked pic, come to my house. Are you down to fuck? Like, are you kidding me? Like, where's the romance in this? What? I'm not about that.
Yeah.
You might, and I say good luck with all that, but I'm not the one. So, congratulations, move on. Nice to meet you. Have a good day.
See, and I have not an opposing opinion, but an alternative opinion in the fact that I think sometimes women have done a disservice where they believe too much in romance. Because I don't believe in the happily ever afters. I don't believe in the happy ending stories or anything. They're pretty much stories that haven't ended yet, right? So I don't want to be a pessimist, but I also want to make sure that we have to also be real in the fact that things have changed. I'm Generation X. We grew up in a generation where we're very skeptical. And so we're always asking questions. And so we're pretty raw. So we're not like our parents who are the baby boomers. Our generation has changed. Hopefully with the millennials and the iGen, they'll learn from our experience. You're welcome, iGen. You're welcome. Because they'll see how miserable we are. Because a lot of our parents were going through those marriages where they were unhappy, but they stayed together because of the kids, right? And so we saw that, and then we didn't want to replicate that, being that generation. So now it's to the point where it's like a pendulum, right?
Right.
It like swung the other way, and now we're single, trying to find love with people who are bitter or not bitter, or just don't believe in it anymore.
Well, for myself, like I 45 years old. I got divorced at 35, so I was married 15 years. So I'm used to that romance, the dating, gentlemanly ways. I have many family members who are still married, so I expect that in relationships or courtships, but it's just not out there. So learning at 35, I felt like a young child experiencing something new, because I had never understood. I didn't even know what walk of shame meant.
The
or
walk of shame.
booty call, or I thought, like, I would hear that in songs, and I thought, oh, that's just fantasy world. Like, I didn't know that really was going on.
So let me.
Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead. What do you think men should do now? Like, what? How do you date a woman? Say I'm a 22-year-old guy that has been on my phone, that grew up nothing but around technology and apps. What is required now for me to actually date a woman?
Being a 45-year-old woman, I date 22-year-olds. So, I
I'm keeping my son away from you.
I know. And the fact that I'm pretty surprised that it's the younger generation who are reaching out. And I know it kind of has that stigma of the cougar or the puma and the young, but they're actually more honest than I find men my age.
It's
and the fact that they're basically saying
with you, they're intrigued with you. Men our age that see successful women are intimidated.
Yeah, and they're beaten up, they're bitter. So I would like to kind of shift the conversation in the fact that I don't blame men exactly. I mean, I've been disappointed because I think the biggest complaint I have is the fact that they're so flaky nowadays, and the fact that, I've had dates where people have literally called me 30 minutes before the date to say they've been in an accident. I'm like, really?
But
and that their phone was in the accident, but they're calling from their cell phone. I'm like, oh, well, your phone was obviously not damaged. But, it's to me, why go through making the details and following through all the way to you're making a date and then not show up?
Well,
that to me
I recently had a date where I finally was talking to this guy. We really hit it off, a nice conversation. We plan a date, and he ends up being 20 minutes late. So I was like counting down the seconds. I'm like, if this mofo don't show up, I'm out of here. Seriously, I was down the street like a mile, and he's blowing me up, trying to convince me to go back. And I was like, I'm not going to go back. I rearranged my schedule to make time for you. I set aside my priorities, and now I'm going to continue with my day as scheduled. So, it is what it is. No hard feelings. Thanks, but I'm no longer interested.
Yeah.
If you're he couldn't even call me or text me. He's just, I was in the parking lot on the phone, phone call, and this happens. I said, no, because I already know. If, like I was saying before, if you, or in another conversation where if they walk all over you at the beginning, one day they're going to say they want to be your boyfriend, and they're going to continue to walk all over you. They're not going to say, they're going to say, I could take advantage of this girl, so they're going to continue taking advantage of you. So you set that priority that they're not going to be allowed to do that day one. When they decide to be your girlfriend, they're going to respect you enough, which, hopefully that comes around.
And I wanted to, what I was going to ask is funny. I was going to ask the age thing, age and location, but I was going to say, now, with something like 22, do you have something that do you find that somebody in their 20s is going to be relatable to you? And if so, do you think that there might be something wrong if you can mentally relate to a 20-something-year-old when you are in your 40s and 50s? That it's going to wind up being a long-lasting relationship. Besides sex, if you take sex out of the equation, what is going to be the motivating factor as into this is going to be my lifelong partner?
No, actually, it wasn't like really pertaining to the longevity of a relationship. Like, this is going to be my it was really the sincerity and the persistence that you see with younger guys. Like, they're very persistent. They're very complimentary. They make more of an effort.
But the thing is,
so you question
but they're 22. When I was 22, I made more of an effort. So isn't that just the age of men at 22 as opposed to?
How about we change it to be 35? Right, I'm 45, so let's do 35.
Let's 45. Let's say you're dating someone your own age. Let's say 45. So what is it that you want from that person that you're not getting?
The thing is, so you want
both of
you want it mutually to be like sustainable, right? Like you want the same effort put forward. Like you don't always want to be pursuing, or I don't want someone always pursuing me and have it be an imbalance. It has to be mutual, and I think
I have to have someone who meets me in the mines. Like I was recently dating or talking to someone, and all he kept telling me was that I was beautiful and I'm pretty, and he liked me and I was beautiful. In the middle of conversation, you're beautiful, you're pretty, I like you. And it was kind of like, okay, thank you. Like
no substance.
Well, pretty girls like to be told they're smart, and smart girls like to be told they're pretty.
I've heard that.
I said, and I'm smart. Like, let's have conversation of substance, politics. I had just came back from a protest and trying to get him involved in that. Nothing. I was like, I can't anymore. Like, you can't, and I'm poking at my head right now because, like, I can't not have a mental stimulation.
No, I think that's it. But it's going back to the original question and the fact of, like, are guys incapable? I don't think they're incapable. I just think that because of the dynamics and where we're at as a society and the fact that everything's so convenient and that, it's transactional, I think women play a part too, because there are a lot of nice guys out there and women pretty much shit on them too.
Yeah, they've been shit on forever.
And then we have to bear the brunt of it, where they're like going, I've kind of coming out of a bad divorce and she wants to take everything. So I see both sides. I'm Libra, I'm balanced. So
Yes,
I
you
see
are.
both sides in the fact that we all contributed together. My frustration is the fact that when I do express interest and I'm sincere with my heart, and I express that these guys aren't able to meet me halfway.
All right, so we have about 2 minutes, and I want to ask again on that same line. Do you think location has something to do with it?
What do you mean by location?
You told me that guys from Arizona, are way different from other.
Oh yeah.
Now this can be. We only got like 2 minutes, but I mean you can jump in on this too. But are you guys?
I meet a lot of guys because I'm born and raised in Arizona, so I'm able to date a lot of guys who are from Arizona, but I don't know if it's the way I look. A lot of East Coast guys are more attractive, and I'm more attracted to guys from the East Coast.
Well, when I was dating, I noticed that men that were coming in from other states, that were that just weren't from Arizona, had just a lot more of a broader view of the capabilities of a woman, were able to really dive into conversations, and they weren't expecting the Scottsdale Barbie.
Yeah. So I would add to location and the fact I'm guilty of as fuck with this, right? And the fact if somebody's like in Mesa and in Chandler Gilbert, I think twice about dating them.
Oh yeah, I've had that.
I'm sorry. Too, like I'm a victim of my own. Yes, I'm a creature of comfort and habit, and so I do take that into consideration because I'm like going, I don't want to pack a lunch to go date you, to go visit you.
I live in Glendale, so everything is far from me. So one guy just, sent me a message like, oh, you live too far, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, I have a car and I travel 5 miles outside where I live. Like, which is... And then I was being sarcastic, which entertained him, which made him want
to... But a lot of people would say that. They would say, like, I don't want to commute for love, right? And I'm like, I dated somebody in L.A. I commuted for love, but I
dated someone in New Jersey.
Right. And then the guy says, I recently had some guy, too, saying he didn't want to date me because I lived too far. Then he ended up dating some girl who lived, like, close to Tucson. I'm like, okay, now you're telling me you just weren't fucking interested in me. That's a nice fucking excuse.
I went on a first
now
date.
She left you.
Oh, like literally,
or she doesn't want to have sex with you
anymore. I met somebody and I went on a first date in Sweden. So I got you all beat.
Okay. Like, who traveled farthest for you?
All right, so we had an overload real quick, but we had about 30 seconds left, if that. But I just want to thank Rose. I want to thank Connie for coming over here and spilling their hearts. But we would love to have a part 2. You guys think you'd be down for part 2? Because I think we have more that we can do.
Yeah, we need to give all the secrets, the women's secrets away.
Yeah, because we really got into the surface.
I have a feeling we could like for next week. Anyway.
That'd be great.
All right, so everybody, in case you don't know, you can always check us out at www.zodandrea.com. Make sure you check us out on all of our social media, which is at Zodandrea on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and everywhere else you can find us. Dre, you want to add anything to this?
Connie and Rose, I love you both, and thank you for being brave and for sharing your experiences with everybody. And any of the male listeners out there, you want to be a guest and add your opinion, your 2 cents, get a hold of us.
Yeah, exactly. I can't just be the only one over here. So if you guys are talking a lot of smack, then you're gonna have to show and prove at some point. Because I know I'm not the only guy who swiped right you know.
Or left.
Or left. That's why I left. But anyway, you know, make sure we see you guys there. Thanks a lot, everybody,
Thank
and
you.
we'll check you out
You're
again.
welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, bye.